Hey guys, Demi here from Atlas Vibrations Spirituality, and I am here with your Jupiter retrograde and Pluto direct collective update. So happy happy retrograde. Sorry, we got the pumpkin back. It is almost Samhain and Halloween, and I am excited. So just a short little snippet for you guys for an update for the business. I will be putting out the newsletter in for Samhain, and so it'll be an important one because I want to get clear on what Samhain and Halloween actually is, because the Wiccans believe it is the beginning of the new year. So I will be sending out once again the newsletter. So please subscribe to the emailing list on my website. My website is in the link within my I think in my bio, there's a link for my website. Put your email in, and then you'll receive 15% off of your first session with me, and that includes tarot, and that includes my astrology chart readings. So please feel free to do that. Share that for others too, as well, who are learning and awakening at this time. So, all right, small sidestep. But, all right, guys, so the biggest planet in our solar system, Jupiter, has gone retrograde, and Spirit is trying to and is getting me to tell you about Jupiter, the planet itself. And I do believe that I've talked about this in other videos, but just as a fun little recap, Jupiter is like the fatherly energy kind of in our solar system. It has the biggest gravitational pull, so what it does is it helps pull all of the asteroids, debris, all of that fun stuff, and it is why it probably has so many moons, because it protects us from all of the outer parts of I would say space, all of the debris, all of the things that are going to come and hit us. It is Jupiter's job to protect us, and he does his job very, very well. And so we know that we can always count on Jupiter to be there. We don't have to question whether or not he is there to help us out. And so what I found about this particular planet, and what really keeps energetically wise, what I really love about it is it's one of the most positive planets in the whole like solar system, well, our solar system, but the zodiac as well. It gives us great it talks about the cycles a lot of the most of the universe. I'm sorry. It is ruled in the tarot by the Wheel of Fortune, and Sagittarius energy as well. It's ruled by that. So all about wisdom, all about sharing that wisdom, all about positivity, all about positive changes. And even when it's in its shadow energy, which it is now, being it's in retrograde, it still gives us positive change. And it may feel that we're in unlucky cycles or bad cycles, or that things aren't going our way, but it's all good for positive change. Now, granted, I would take a look at your chart and see where this is happening, because for example, depending on your chart day or night, if you have a day chart and you're born during the day, just like me, Jupiter is going to be the most beneficial planet for you in your chart. Okay. So, not that it's a bad thing, but if you have a night chart, it's not like it's just there. It's still going to bring you positivity. It's still going to bring you good things either way. And for night charts, if you were wondering, the most positive planet for you is going to be Venus. So look, see where that's at, take a look, and see what's going on. So Jupiter station retrograde on October 9th, and it is going to be retrograde until February 4th of 2025, next year. So we're going to be dealing with this all the way through the winter, pretty much. And so it went retrograde at 21 degrees, and it's going to go back to 11 degrees. And so it's in the sign of Gemini. So as we talked about with Gemini energy, I don't want to get super into it, but it's just going to be all about communication, all about small travel, and your siblings. So as we talked about, like I touched on Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius is Gemini's opposite, but the Gemini energy is a student dynamic. It is all about talking. It is all about learning. It is all about being so like gimme, gimme, gimme more in when it comes to thirst and knowledge, and that is being the student. I say this in every single video about Gemini, and this is just in life in general. We always need to be the student, that so we can learn, so we can be open to experiences. And so you may know people, for example, that have Gemini. They are Geminis, they have Gemini in their chart. And maybe, I don't think I've ever met anybody that's had a Gemini stellium. So if you have a Gemini stellium, please comment down below, because that'd be cool to meet somebody like that. But I know a lot of people who have a Venus in Gemini, and I know it's a bad rep, but these people and this particular energy, it calls for more, like, just getting into that intellectual mindset, getting into that studious mindset and learning. This sign is never about settling in for just being boring. Like, Gemini energy needs to be constantly stimulated, constantly going, constantly talking, constantly sharing ideas, constantly bouncing from one idea to the other. And I will say this, if you cannot capture a Gemini's like attention, that means, and I don't mean it disrespectfully, I don't mean it to trigger anybody, or they don't find you interesting enough to either pursue you romantically or to pursue anything further, because they're just not stimulated enough. So with Jupiter being here, we need to realize, like, how can we increase and work on our communication? How can we talk about things? How are we saying things? How are we learning things? How can we learn more? And it's in a certain aspect within your chart, depending on where it's at. It may seem like and you may feel like a little bit, it is like a mini Mercury retrograde-ish. It's going to have the same vibes, but it's not going to have the same deeper meaning as to how it's going to change your life when it comes to Mercury. It's going to be more of a deeper experience. It's going to be a little bit more about bringing more luck and abundance into your life. So we need to see and increase and expand our vocabulary, probably. So what information are you speaking? Where are you withdrawing? What are you holding back? And what are you keeping secrets? So you're going to see here that it's all about, how are we talking? How are we perceiving? How are our conversations going? I'm like glowing. See, it's already here. But we need to learn to also move and flow within the darkness and light within our lives. Air energy holds that universal law of darkness and light. So this is where we get both sides. This is why Gemini seems like it's two-faced, but it has this energy of being light and dark. And it's really interesting because we need to learn how to move and flow with that. And then you move to Libra, which is about the balancing of the scales. And you guys can go back and watch my videos about the Libra energy. But we need to find balance within our words. Say what you mean what you say. Think before you speak. Reflect on your vocabulary. Also minimize gossiping and releasing all of that kind of stuff. So you're going to be reviewing all of this to make good change. So mine's happening in my 9th house of ideologies. As Sagittarius rules that house. So long-term travel versus short-term travel for me. Ideas, ideologies, morals and values, justice. So how am I speaking justice? How can I increase my learning about morals and values? It's deep. Sagittarius is, once again, like I said, deep. So this is how I'm reviewing it. I'm constantly, and I will say, I have been, all I've wanted to do for months is learn philosophy. I've been reading, not quickly, but Marcus Aurelius, philosophy, philosophers, deeper meanings and values to life. I'm expanding on that in a very positive way. So this is something you need to look up in your chart, because now I'm going to see that maybe where my communication isn't really that great with people. I'm seeing that, maybe I do need to learn how to speak better and talk a little bit more, and seeing where I can be more studious about deeper things and deeper travel, studying about different places I want to go abroad, trying to figure out what captures my interest in that. And even to once again, your siblings going to be involved in this some way or some form if you have them, especially if you're a twin. So just keeping that in mind. Now I have a couple minutes left. Let's talk about Pluto direct, because I've talked about a lot of government and what's happening right now, and I want to reiterate to you guys of importance of what this means. So Pluto, we've talked about it in the past. It destroys to be rebuilt. It is ruled by the Tower and is ruled by Scorpio in death, Scorpio, all that fun stuff, and tarot. So it's connected in many different ways. It's a water sign, obviously, and it is all about going through the fire to bring back this new transformative version of yourself. And it's all about going through the fire, and sometimes some people don't make it through that fire, and sometimes we need to just review and see, and it's about death and change. So you probably have seen endings. Now, for an example, this is, well, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. It went direct at 29 degrees of Pluto. So wait, oh my god, I can't talk. I am so sorry. I'm like, see, hi, happy Jupiter retrograde-ish. So once again, it stationed direct at 29 degrees in Capricorn. So you've been reviewing things since 2008. Think back to then, think about all those things, think about the things that you need to change, think about all of the cycles that you've gone through, what needed to change at the start of that you went through that ring of fire to change. Now is the time to make the change. Being that it's in 29 degrees, it's showing a very deep shadow energy of Capricorn. So greed, where's your stability? Where do you need to work harder? Where do you need to kind of review? What about your leaders? Capricorn is all about leaders, about it's kind of like that chain of command. So it starts at the top, it goes down. So that's why I work for one of the biggest retail companies in the world right now, and it's a chain of command. That's a Capricornian energy. You listen to the person that's above you, and it's more about chain of command and that than anything, because, and also governments, because government is that way. But I want to remind you all, because being that we are coming up in at least here in the United States, because we were going through our Pluto return, and me being somebody, which I don't find it's a coincidence, because for those of you that know me personally, I live on the outskirts of Philadelphia. I live in New Jersey. I'm 20 minutes away from Philly, and Philadelphia. And so this is where the Declaration of Independence was written. This is what set up the United States. So I'm in the heart of it. I think that the capital of the United States should actually be Philadelphia, but that's just me. So technically, I'm in the creation spot of the birth chart of the United States, and I don't think it's a coincidence, because we have very dense energy. I want you to keep in mind the government has astrologers that are working on the dark side to make things worse. I will say this, they are playing on these energies of the greed and the capitalism that is happening right now. So all I will say is just keep that in mind. Keep in mind that it's being destroyed to be rebuilt back up. And this is something that definitely needs to be reviewed, as in within yourself. And I want you to take a look at your leaders. Capricorn opposite is Cancer. The entrance to our solar system or our galaxy is through the constellation of Cancer, and being with that means that its opposite side of Capricorn is also about ascendant masters, and it speaks it in its symbolism of the half goat, half of like sea creature that it is. And so this is all about, who are you putting your faith in within your leaders? You're realizing that you don't need a leader anymore. You're probably seeing it, you're coming to cycles of completion about bosses and your self-worth, and seeing about, you know how to put that work in, and coming back to that Christ consciousness. So what mistakes have you made? What area of life has this happened for you? This is happening for me in my house of family, and being the best example that I can give you, that I was going to touch on, is I have seen from 2008 in my house of Cancer, so number 4, so this is a pivotal point. I've had many deaths of family members. I've seen deaths of my stability, what I need to rebuild my stability, and because it is Capricorn energy, it is all about dedication, hard work, patience, and seeing that it takes very slowly to build that, and seeing that the mistakes that I need to fix and make, that I have made over the last 4 to 5 years, being and maybe even 10, being from when I wasn't or not 10, I was like 10, 12 plus years, because I'm technically I was 18, an adult, and I personally believe that astrology, it goes into effect when you're an adult. So I hope that this tangent and this part of Pluto being direct has sparked some change, and for you to make that change. Okay, so until next time, good luck. Namaste.